Mhm.
Okay. All right. So Mr. Tomlin, thank you so much for your time today. And I met you. I already told you 2018. I went
Yes.
to see you in the production during
Mhm.
the shooting of the Garden of the Evening Mist. Then I
Mhm.
followed the journalist from Japan, and I was the translator. Yeah. Then
Mhm. Yeah,
what
that was up in Timo, was it?
Kampa.
Where we were in
Kampa.
Kampar. We were in Kampar.
I think
Yeah.
you are staying in Kampa, and
Ah,
then
yes, yes.
that day, Abe Hiroshi-san also supposed to be there, but he's off day, so I interview you.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So nice to
Mhm.
see you. Then I'm so happy to see you today. And
Yeah,
then
thank you.
I think I already messaged you about this, but back then I really didn't really know about the history of Malaya. Of course, I learned in school a little bit, and um, how do you say, like, only know on the history book or the guidebook.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I talk to you, and then I watch your movie, and then I start feeling like, oh, I really need to learn about this. And then I become a researcher of Malaya's history, and also, especially Japanese occupation time, 3 years
Mhm.
and 8 months. Then
Mhm.
I'm doing
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
virtual tour guide. So I
Mhm.
would like to know more about, the background of your movie productions, and, what's
Mhm.
your intention to do, direct this kind of movie. And I
Mhm. Mhm.
also have this book here.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and then yes, I sent you some of the message question yesterday. So I would like to
Yes.
ask
Yes.
some question. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Hi. Okay.
Okay.
So the first question. So please
Mhm.
tell us about the story behind what triggered you to be the film director of this film. Mm.
Well, in the beginning, it was Astro. A producer at Astro reached out to me through Facebook.
Through Facebook.
Um, yeah, through Facebook, they sent me a message. They were looking for directors, and I was on one of their recommendation lists.
Uh-huh.
And so they approached me with the project. At the time, they had an early draft of the script, and but when they gave it to me, because they told me that it's based on a novel,
Mm.
so I didn't read the script. I said that then I would like to read the novel first,
Mm, mm, mm.
because it's coming from that. And so I went to find. I found the novel. I read it, and I found it to be a very beautiful a novel.
Mm.
It wasn't so much the subject of war that
Mm.
interested me, but it was the reconciliation and redemption of war. It was that part that was touching for me,
Mm.
and to go through something like that and come out the other side,
Mm.
with Yingling and Aritomo, what they both go through and finding redemption within each other.
Mm.
So it was a very, very moving story for me. And again, at that time, I didn't know about the occupation in Malaya. I didn't. I
Mm.
kind of knew there
Yeah, like
something
same.
happened.
Our generation.
Yeah,
I'm also same generation as you. 40. So
yeah.
can I ask you how old are you? 40,
Right now I'm 40, 45, 44,
45.
45.
Okay, I'm also turning
Yeah.
44. So our generation don't really know about the history, what happened in the
Yeah, I
other
mean, I
side of.
know, I know a little bit. I know
Mm,
that there was occupation in Southeast Asia,
mhm.
but I didn't know exactly what was happening
How
there.
about Taiwan? Taiwan.
Taiwan, Taiwan,
Mm,
I'm very familiar, of course,
oh, I see. I see.
with the history, with the occupation of
Like a
Japan,
50 years of
and it
in
was
the,
50 years. It was a very long time,
mm,
and
mm,
it wasn't, and because it wasn't. It wasn't all bad. It wasn't brutal. It was, I mean, there were war, there
Mm,
were conflicts, but at the same time there were constructions,
mm,
there were thoughts put into Taiwan
mm,
to make at that time to make Taiwan a part of Japan.
mm, mm,
And so the Japanese, they so so you do have a generation of Taiwanese people who actually prefer the Japanese occupation over the Kuomintang that came
mm,
later,
mm,
thinking that the Japanese actually did a better job of ruling the island.
mm,
So it was a very mixed feeling for a
hello.
so it's very
Mhm,
different. 50
mhm,
years,
mm,
50 years of occupation and 3 years and 8 months. That's
mm,
very because in
mm.
Malaya, the 3 years and 8 months, that was just war.
War, yes, yeah,
That was war.
invading, yeah,
It
they
was
took over from
invading.
England, yes, yes,
Yeah, it was invading. It was war, and it was war all over the place. It was World War II,
yes.
and so of course it was a lot more brutal,
Mm,
and um, so that was the history that was left behind.
mhm,
But yeah, I didn't know
mm,
any of the details
right.
until I did more research
Mm,
after reading the book.
mm,
So back to the question.
mm.
So it was the book. It was the book
Book,
that
okay.
drew me to the project,
Mhm,
and it was a beautiful story,
mm,
and again, because it was a story that, it took place in Malaya, and so that was also for a filmmaker, that's always very
mm,
very interesting to
mm,
be able to
mm,
go to another country
mm,
and stay there and
mm,
study and learn about the history
right.
and recreate history and make it
Mhm,
into a movie. That, that's all very, very fun for me.
mm,
um
mm.
so yeah, so that was my initial um feelings to taking on this project.
I see, I see. And then the beginning of the movie, actually, I watched again yesterday.
Hmm,
It's a
hmm,
different,
hmm,
feeling. The first time I went to theater, then yesterday I
hmm.
watched it at home through HBO Asia. If you have a
Okay.
subscription in Singapore, Malaysia, and then you can
Hmm,
watch,
hmm.
anytime.
Is
So,
the HBO Asia version in Malaysia, is it censored?
oh, I'm not sure about it. Censored of which part of scene you mean?
There was a scene with Yungling and Aritomo in the bathtub.
Yes, it was
And
in the movie. Yes,
in the
yesterday.
movie, but in the theaters when Malaysia played it,
Yeah,
it was
no,
very short.
yeah, but I think this
Yeah.
one is a longer. I didn't watch the scene in the theater, so it means not censored.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay, okay. It's
Yeah,
not censored.
it's
Okay,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, it's important scene though. If you cut the
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
very important.
Yes, it's an important scene for Yunling, yeah.
Yes. Hi. Then so what was so then I watched it again. Then the
Hmm,
beginning of the movie, it's
hmm,
beautiful Cameron Highland scenery that
hmm,
start from
hmm.
there, right? So why
Yeah.
you choose the scene? The start from the place where Yugiri is garden evening mist, the name of the hut, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that why
Well,
you mm,
I wanted to start with something serene. I wanted to
having
start with
nice
something
quiet.
quiet and tranquil.
Mm,
Um, and because I mean, again, I wanted to show the beauty of the Cameron Highlands.
mm, mm,
Because the Cameron Highlands, for the story, I mean, it's a place of sanctuary. It's a
mm.
place, again, it's a place
Sanctuary.
of redemption,
Mm,
and I wanted to 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 create that. I wanted to really show the audience this.
mm,
um and also just because, when I got to, I think a lot of what I was showing, it reflects how I was feeling when I got to Malaysia, when I started doing research, and when they drove me up to the Cameron Highlands. To see the tea plantations, to see the high mountains, to see the view, that was very, very soothing. And I wanted to start that way. Yeah.
I see. It was so
Mm.
beautiful, and I really enjoy watching it because I live here for 10 years. So I've been to Cameron Highland, many places, almost everywhere. I love traveling. So, but then your world of, you actually describe the book in this way. I was so, impressed, and I would like
Thank
to
you.
more people to watch this movie. But it's so sad that your movie is actually started last year, January 2000, no, 2020, 2020
Yes,
January
yes.
in Kuala Lumpur. Finally, then I told my friends to go watch this movie, and a lot of people start going there, and Corona pandemic happened. Yeah, very sad. And yeah, then I thought it's continue, but cinema itself shut down, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now it's quite tough time for you as a director. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how's the
Yeah,
situation in
you know,
Taiwan?
it's okay. Taiwan is pretty much contained. It's controlled.
Yes, yes. Very
We're still
famous.
able to we're still able to work. A lot of restrictions, but we're still able to work.
I see. I see.
But regarding theaters, yeah, that's the situation right now. Not many people are going to movie theaters, even though the theaters are showing movies.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are choosing not to go.
Not to go, right? Yeah.
Yeah, everybody is staying home, watching HBO.
HBO,
But,
yeah, please watch HBO Go and download it onto your iPhone and watch this movie. Hi. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, next question. Thank you. So how did you select the actors? Especially why did you select Hiroshi Abe-san? I'm very big fan of Hiroshi-san. Hi. Why you choose him?
Well, in the beginning, when I was approached to do this film, Shinji was already contacted.
Angelica Lee-san. Hi.
Angelica Lee, yeah. So Astro already contacted her, and she showed interest in being in the movie, playing the Yunlin character. And because I love her performance before. I didn't really know her. I've met her a couple times, but haven't really gotten to know her. But I thought it was a great opportunity to work with her, and it's a great character for her, playing a Malaysian. And so that was Shinji. So when it came to Aritomo, this character, of course, in the beginning, the Astro, of course, mentioned many Japanese actors, and ones that spoke English, because Aritomo needed to speak English. So there was a lot of discussion in the beginning about who should play Aritomo. But English-speaking Japanese actors, there's really only a handful of them.
I think I can name everyone.
Yeah, you could name a lot.
Maybe a little less.
Yeah, and I also when I cast, I think in two different characters. As a director, I cast people, of course, that I want to work with. But at the same time, when I cast, I also think of myself as an audience, and an audience that has watched many movies.
Right.
So I wanted something different. I wanted to give the audience something different. And Hiroshi Abe has always struck me as a very particular Japanese actor. He's not like other Japanese actors. I mean, he's tall in stature. He carries himself differently than other Japanese actors that I've seen. And so, and I wanted, and I've, of course, I've been a fan of Hiroshi Abe for a long time.
Yes.
Ever since, I mean, even before all the movies that he's done, he was doing a lot of television stuff, and I love those too. and so and you see him, he's a very versatile actor. He can do comedy, he can do very serious drama, he can do action films. So he can do a lot of things.
He can also play the role as an Italian, I think, like a Roman.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah, so he's so versatile, and but at the same time he's very enigmatic, and I wanted that quality. So I approached Astro, and I said, what about Hiroshi Abe? Can we approach him? And they said, can he speak English? I said, I don't know.
Yes.
But let's ask, let's see, let's try. And so he was actually, I mean, Hiroshi Abe was the first actor that we approached.
Really?
For Aritomo.
Wow.
Yes. And he agreed. And so it was very lucky on our part that he wanted to try something different, that he wanted to perform in English, that he wanted to do a movie outside of Japan in another country. And so it was very lucky. I mean, it was lucky for both of us that the film and Hiroshi Abe found each other in this movie. And again, because Aritomo is also a character that's very unlike other Japanese.
Oh yes.
Especially in the movie. He has to be very different. He has to carry himself differently. He has to be isolated. He has to have that
isolated. Yes.
Isolated. He has to have that different sense of air and quality
and mysterious type of
and so I thought he would be perfect for Aritomo. So that's
it was perfect. Yes, it was perfect. That's why I was wondering how you found this actor, and also Sylvia Chen as a Yunlin when she gets older. Oh wow! The Yunlin's young time and the later time. Oh, the perfect casting. That's what I think. That's what one is. You chose or the Astro chose the actress?
Well, I mean, we both thought of Sylvia Chang, and it wasn't that hard of a decision because Sylvia and Shinji, they've known each other for 20 years. Sylvia is Shinji's agent, manager, mentor. Sylvia was the one that found Shinji in a village.
Hello. I think your video stopped. So she found Sylvia. Yes.
No, Sylvia found Shinji. 20 years ago. 30 years ago.
When she was like a 20s. I think she's also same age as you, right? Like 44.
Yeah, she's same age as me. Yeah. So when Shinji was, I think, 18.
I know she's from Alosta, right? Near Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sylvia at that time, she was looking for a young female girl. And she was looking all over, and then so she looked in Taiwan, she looked in Hong Kong, she went to Malaysia, and then she found Shinji.
Wow, I got the goosebumps. Yeah, okay.
So they've known each other for like 30 years.
Wow.
And so I think she's Sylvia is kind of like a second mother to Shinji, and they've known each other for so long. They know how to mimic each other. They kind of talk similar. They laugh similar, and so it was really a no-brainer to ask Sylvia to play the older Yunlin.
They're both very, how do you say, strong woman. She even chose herself to go see Kobayashi Mamoru when he has to be persecuted. She was there, right? Yes. So then he has how do you say grudge? Grudge is the right word. I don't know, but she had some,
Oh yeah, she holds a grudge. Yes.
Towards Japanese and Japanese everything, because her beloved sister got killed right?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very tough for me to watch the movie and then learn about the history. Okay, so
Mm.
I would like to ask more questions, so I
Okay.
should go next. Yeah, and then I changed the subject from the movie to Japan and Japanese culture, and
Video is it
hello.
was the video was
Oh
broken.
yeah,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I
Okay.
think it's my internet. It's not really good. Hi. Is it?
Okay.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Hi.
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
okay now. It's okay now. Yeah.
Hi. Okay. So I move on to the next subject. I would like to ask
Mhm.
you about your impression about Japan and Japanese culture, because
Mhm.
first time I met you as a translator, you were talking
Mhm.
about you grew up with the Japanese anime and movies, and also you've been
Yeah.
to Tokyo and Osaka, and then you feel the
Mhm.
difference, when you go to big
Mhm. Mhm.
cities and then in the countryside. So I
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
to ask you about impression
Mhm.
towards Japan and Japanese culture as a film director. Mm.
Well, I mean, both as a film director, film fan,
Film fan.
I've watched many Japanese cinema.
Mm.
I'm a big fan of a lot of Japanese directors.
Uh-huh.
The Japanese culture for me, I mean, they're very sensitive,
Mm.
very detailed.
Mm.
Again, there's a mystery to it. It's
Mm.
enigmatic.
Mm.
A lot of emotions are suppressed and not shown.
Suppressed. Yes, that's a good word.
Um, but then again, there's a delicacy behind that,
Mm.
and there's a delicacy behind the subtleness of
Mm.
how the Japanese people respond
Mm.
and react,
Mm.
and so there's a so it creates a natural beauty there um, in the suppression.
Mm.
But at the same time, there's a melancholy to it.
Sorry?
Um, there's a melancholy.
Melancholy? Melancholy, yes.
Yeah, I feel there's a melancholy within the Japanese DNA. I don't know what that is,
Uh-huh.
but I do have that
I'm just
feeling.
thinking what's the best word for Japanese? Melancholy. Yeah, melancholy. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Understand.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean.
yeah.
Mm.
There's like a very light sense of sadness
Mm.
um,
Mm.
within the Japanese, well, within the culture that I've have come.
Mm-hmm. Your video again stopped.
Kind of
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
feeling.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my feeling towards the Japanese.
Mm.
At the same time, I mean, I'm very I'm very fond of traveling there.
Mm.
And I've been to many places in Japan.
Mm.
Tokyo, Osaka, Hokkaido,
Mhm.
and the south. And of course, I've also been to Okinawa like many times.
Mm.
Um,
So for
yeah,
like diving, or you go to Okinawa for traveling
it,
or just
it
relax?
was at first it was work.
Okay.
Yeah, at first it was work, but then afterwards, because one, it's very close to Taiwan.
Yes.
Flying to Okinawa is only like 40 minutes, 50
Oh,
minutes
really?
away.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
it's very
wow.
close. And so I've gone back many times just for vacation, just
Okay, vacation. Oh,
yeah, just to
nice.
just to see friends and
Uh-huh.
and enjoy the whole atmosphere. Yeah, yeah.
You feel some like a melancholy in Okinawa as well. I think Okinawa people and the rest
Okinawa,
of
not as
the
much.
not as
Yeah.
much, right?
Yeah, not as much.
I feel more like a Southeast Asians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okinawa. Well, but Okinawa, I do feel there's a quiet sense of anger.
Quiet sense of anger. Okay.
A quiet sense of anger towards the Americans.
Oh yes, of course. It's like a kind of
Because
oppressed.
because
Still the war is not ended.
yeah, yeah, the base is still there.
Military bases. Yeah.
The American military still owns still takes up a lot of land in Okinawa. When I asked my friends, like, because I wanted to travel, and I said that I wanted to go east, and I asked them, where can I go when I go east of Okinawa? And then when, and their answer is, don't go there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there but American bases. There's nothing there. Like, there's nothing to see. That's not Okinawa. Yeah, there's a resentment. I do feel a
Yeah.
resentment.
And also very, carries a lot of sad history. A lot of people died in
Yes.
that side, during the World War II.
Yeah.
Himeyuri. Himeyuri is the girls, group of, I think they're nurses, jump off from the cliff because they had to, run from the attack from the.
Yeah.
So the Himeyuri's memorial is on the east side. Yeah, I've been there. It's quite sad, not really happening. So if you want to have a vacation, then you should go more fun
Yeah,
and
on the
happening
west.
west. Yes.
Yeah.
I drove all the island. I only been there once, but yeah, I saw many airplanes at the airport, like army military base.
Military.
Yes.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
okay. So I understand. Thank you. So then you grew up in US or Taiwan? Both. Both. Oh, I see. Your English is perfect, and I think you've been in Taiwan film industry, so that your Chinese Mandarin is also perfect. So from kind of a mixed culture kid, like when you were growing up. So what is your experience growing up in US as an Asian? Because I'm married American. I'm a pure 100% Japanese, but raising mixed culture kid. Then a lot of friends I kind of showing this video to the audience of Kuala Lumpur and also the rest of the world as well. So a lot of people raising the mixed culture kid nowadays. I think increasing, just like you. But you've been so successful, and you're traveling around the world to be a film director. And you also said that you're a big film fan. So I would like to know about your experience. I think it's impact on your life a lot, right? Living in the US.
Yes, of course. Because when I was in the United States, I was there for elementary school.
That's it?
And so that's elementary, and that was elementary. But when I came back to Taiwan, I was in a bilingual school.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So we were still studying both in Chinese and in English.
Wow. Ideal.
But because of elementary, that's when you're absorbing all the language, absorbing a sense of culture, absorbing a sense of a way of life, if you will. But I think I was very fortunate to grow up because when I was in elementary, I was in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Hi. Okay.
Yes, I was in Minnesota. So I did not experience a lot of racism. They were the people in Minnesota, they were mostly white, but they were mostly, very they're very nice people. They're Christian. I didn't experience that much racism. I was closer to my Asian friends, Asian American friends, for some reason, maybe just because of our skin color. But yeah, and I think it's because the education in the American system, they grow up, they educate their kids to find their own answer, to find their own solution, to search for your problems and answer them. Right. I remember when I was there, the first thing they teach you, of course, this was like 30, 40 years ago, but the first thing they teach you is how to use a library. Because in a library, there's a world of knowledge, and you can go there and find anything you want. And they teach you how to find it. You have the you have the decimal system, you have the key cards,
Right.
and then you have the different subject matters.
Mm,
And they encourage that. They encourage you to search for your own answer.
right.
Whereas when I came
Hello. Again,
school,
internet.
the
It's yeah.
education system,
Mm,
when I came back to Taiwan, even though I was in a bilingual school, the
mm,
education system was more Taiwanese,
mm,
where they give you the answers
right.
and you memorize it
Mm,
and you remember what the answer is,
same.
and then you take the test and then you give it.
Mm, internet
Doesn't
again.
create a lot of
Mm,
it doesn't create a lot of free thinking,
mm,
thinking for yourself.
mm,
And so that's, I think, the main difference
right.
between the Taiwanese, the
Mm,
education I got in Taiwan and the education I got in the United States.
mm,
But there, of course, there's good and bad to both sides,
right.
and I've tried to avoid the bad part and hopefully just taken up the good part. Yeah.
Understand. Okay. So then you mentioned about the education's a difference between,
Mm,
Western culture and Asian culture, about
yeah.
education system. So
Mm,
then next question, I think a bit, tough question for you, but
mm,
how do you feel about the film will be released sometime in Japan, sometime soon? And, a lot of Japanese, just like you mentioned, if you don't learn at the school, you don't really know about the history. If you go into library or if you go to internet, Google, search, then research,
mm,
then you finally know. Like you said,
yeah.
you want to become a filmmaker for this war related book. That's why you
Hmm.
studied research. Then I learned
Yeah.
from you. You inspired me. That's why I started learning. But a lot of people have no idea about this kind of history
Yeah.
happening in
Yeah.
Malaysia. So how do you feel about it? Like you are just
Um,
yeah.
well, I mean, I'm happy that it's going to finally release in Japan.
Mm,
Um, and I think because of the message of the movie,
mm,
I'm not that worried
mm,
about showing it to the Japanese audience.
mm,
Um, we've shown it in the Osaka Film Festival
Asian
once,
festival, yes.
the Osaka Asian Film Festival last year in
Mm,
March.
mm.
Even though the coronavirus, so I wasn't able to go.
Oh, so
Um,
sorry.
but
Yeah.
the curators, they gave me some feedback from the audience, and it was mostly positive. It was
Mm,
mostly positive
mm,
that they didn't know about this
yeah.
history,
Mm,
but because again of the ending of the message, the
mm,
message of the film
right.
is not about hatred.
Mm,
It's about perseverance,
mm,
and it's about salvation, and it's about redemption.
mm,
And I
mm,
think because it's a positive message,
mm,
that I'm proud of showing this film, and
uh-huh.
hopefully people will know that this is part of the past. Of course, this is history,
Right.
but it is in the past. It is
Mm,
something that
still
we should
going
not
on.
ignore.
Mm,
We shouldn't ignore that. We shouldn't turn a blind eye to, and hopefully that we know what has happened before, that we will not be repeating ourselves in the
mm,
future.
mm, mm,
um, but of course, I mean, it's again because of the message. I believe in the message of the film. I believe
mm,
in the redemptive nature of
mm,
love,
mm,
and so I'm quite excited. I'm very
mm.
looking forward to
Yeah.
this film being released in Japan,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and hopefully, I mean, hopefully more people would not. I mean, they might. I don't know how they will react,
Mm.
but hopefully they will come for Hiroshi Abe. They will,
Yeah,
that they
but
want to see. They want to see Hiroshi Abe in a Malaysian movie.
yeah, I think yeah, a lot of more, not only Japanese, a lot of Malaysian also wants to, want them to go. I want them to go watch your movie, but then already the screen is already finished, right, in Malaysia. So that's why please go to HBO Go and then watch this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I have one more, request for you. So you keep using, today's interviews theme is like redemption, of love. So, but you use this word a lot, but can you please simplify, because, the big words, a lot of Japanese can't really speak English or understand English, as you know, you've been to Japan so many times. So I
yes.
want, to explain to the audience, especially they watch this, I put the Japanese subtitle later, then I write about your interview as well. But can you put it into simple words to, express?
Well, I think the film ultimately, when how to come to an inner peace, peace inside. That's to let go of grief, to let go of the past, and to find that inner peace. I think that's what Yunlin found in the end, with the message that Aritomo left for her. She found inner peace.
Yeah.
And that's and so through each other. I think if Yunling did not show up at Aritomo's garden, Aritomo may have never changed, may have never left. Aritomo may have just stayed there. And but because Aritomo knows what he has done, what he has been involved with, that he knows what he needs to do, that he knows that, he does need to also find his own inner peace within the context of war and the aftermath of war. And so, yeah, I think it's about finding inner peace.
Okay, finding inner peace. Okay, that's very nice. I would like, a lot younger generation to watch this movie, because like I'm raising 9-year-old boy. They're watching, all kinds of Japanese fighting animes, like Attack on Titan and Demon Slayers, and just started, in Kuala Lumpur last week, Demon Slayer start showing on March 5th.
The TV or the movie or
the movie, the Mugen Train.
The movie.
Yes,
it's a big hit. I like it.
Yeah, it's a big hit, and now Japan, I think they broke the record. The Ghibli is The Spirited Away has been top #1 for 20 years. I love the movie too. I have that's also another movie of redemption. They go, Then now the Demon Slayer become #1 in the history. So then, but don't underestimate of children. They understand so many things through the movie and anime. Probably you grew up with a lot of anime, not just the Japanese, around the world, right? So that's kind of raise you as a filmmaker and then storyteller. So as a storyteller, what do you think is your like a life mission? Like you rest of your life probably you stay in this job, or you want to do something else, or
I see myself as a storyteller. So I try to tell interesting stories or moving stories that, of course, if the story is interesting to me and I think that an audience would enjoy it or would need to know, I'm compelled to tell the story. But
then you're so good at
filmmaking is only a medium. for me.
Mm.
Because I've stumbled upon filmmaking, and I find myself attracted to this way of storytelling, then this is how I end up telling stories. If I grew up with many, I don't know, if there was like a lot of writers around me, or if I was more into literature, maybe I would be telling stories with novels.
Uh-huh.
But because I grew up in a very image-based surrounding,
Yeah.
reading comics, watching anime, watching a lot of TV, watching a lot of movies, it just naturally became the way for me to tell stories. Um, with that said, what keeps me going is because there are so many movies being made everywhere around the world each year, that there's so much stories out there. Um, and so what I like to do is, when I tell a story, or when I decide to make a movie, um, I ask myself if this world needs this story.
Hello.
Is a
Yes. World needs the
okay.
story.
Yeah, yeah. I ask myself if the world needs this story, needs this movie. Does it make the world a better place? Does it make the world a more beautiful place? Is it a positive message within the movie? That's ultimately what I think I'm doing.
Right.
With each movie that I make, I try to give something positive. I try to give an emotion or an energy or a message that is positive, that creates more, more harmony, um, in the world, hopefully. Yeah.
So you're like keen to create something for children as well, like a younger generation. I think
I
this Garden of Evening Mist is like age rating is 18.
Yeah,
It's a bit. I
yeah.
cannot go and watch with my son yet. I think
Not yet, not yet.
not
Yeah,
yet. Yeah, too much.
not yet,
But
not yet.
yeah, but Demon Slayer
Well,
and Attack on Titan also 17. But it's very
yeah,
popular.
that's also,
I know,
but it's very, yeah, it's
very
also very violent
brutal.
too. Yeah,
Hi.
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, my second film was called Starry Starry Night.
I want to watch, but I don't know how to download it. So just I waiting. Starry Night. Like a
Okay.
Bango, the art, right? The name of the title is the art of
Yeah,
the
it's called, like Van Gogh. Yeah,
Bango. Yeah.
yeah, Starry Starry Night. Yeah, I don't know how to watch it in Malaysia.
Yeah. HBO no don't
I
have.
No, HBO don't have. I know that Japan released it.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so I know that Japan
No
has like
Netflix. Okay.
probably
Amazon
no
Prime.
Netflix, but
Amazon
I don't
Prime.
know. I don't know.
Okay.
But Japan has like DVDs and
A DVD.
Blu-rays.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, DVD and Blu-ray of
I don't
Starry
know
Starry
when I
Night.
can go back to Japan.
Yeah, I know.
I can
Yeah,
travel. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All
no,
right. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Then is it okay? Can I ask one more question? Like so
Yeah,
sorry,
sure,
like
sure.
45 minutes. Okay. Then wait a minute. So yeah, I asked you about finding inner peace and then let go of the past. Yeah, another last one is very important. You said if you make a film, it's really world needs this, and then it makes this world a better place. Then now the Myanmar, like old Burma, the happening now is like a lot of hatred and then
Yeah,
fighting coup
yeah.
d'etats and everything. So then I researched about World War II history. A lot of troops, Japan invaded Malaya and took over Singapore. All the troops went to Burma and then fight against China and India and then of course England and the United States. Then they, like lost. Japan lost, right? Then they fled back to Japan. But then now you know, after 75, 6 years later, now they are, fighting each other, everything. But the military training, it was done by Japanese army. That's why what they are doing to the innocent people in Burma, Myanmar right now is kind of, repeating itself. It's just, then I'm so sad to learn about the history, and I'm so shocked. Then you said that we shouldn't repeat, the sad history. Then we learn from the history. Then now you create the beautiful, movie about redemption and finding inner peace, and spread the love and make this world a better place. So my last question will be, so what, when in front of you have enemy, or how do you say, the demon in front of you, but how to deal with this demon? You fight back, or how to deal with this kind of situation to keep your inner peace, or what I mean? Like, I don't know how to ask you a question, but probably you understand my intention. Yeah.
Well,
the world is so many fighting and hatred,
well,
stuff going on.
Human beings are complicated people, and everybody has a certain darkness within them,
right? Yes, of course. Yeah.
And sometimes maybe, like, the people that are running an entire country sees a certain opportunity or motive for personal gain, and devastating things are done. Devastating things are created. I mean, I don't know how to give a good answer.
Yeah, if we know,
to
probably.
to facing horrible situations or evil or the darkness, but as human beings, we also have an ability to empathize.
Empathize, yes.
Yeah, we have the ability to empathize with one another. Even though I'm not you, I can feel what you're feeling, or I can try and understand what you're going through. And storytelling and filmmaking is a big part of the empathy machine within human beings. And like what's happening in Myanmar or around the world, when we see these things, of course we're saddened by it. We're saddened by why human beings have to be like this. But I think it's also, at the same time, when that sadness is generated or is created within us, we know, why do we think it's sad? Why do we feel that it's sad? Because we know what they're going through. And so at the same time, there is positiveness being created with human beings, with a general there, and it becomes a general consensus within everybody, knowing that this is wrong, knowing that this is not the correct way to go. And the world can condemn those actions.
Right.
I mean, what we can do, there's not much we can do, but also, because of social media, because the world is so open and connected now through the internet, that people are able to see these things. People are able to to acknowledge that, you know, there is something wrong happening here, there is something wrong happening there, and something should be done about it. Somebody will raise a voice, and that voice may generate something in other people, and it might become a collective force. It might become something that can be dealt with, or can be stopped, or can be can be measured with. But again, back to the empathy. It's also a soothing mechanism for people who are suffering. That when they suffer, that they know that they are not alone. That they know that there are other people going through similar things, feeling the sadness, feeling the that there's hatred around them, and wanting to do something about it.
Right.
That they're not alone in it. So, you know, so I mean, that's as storytellers, that's what we can do. And hopefully, again, I mean, even though the change may be very small, but it may
hello, you stopped.
Something.
Hello, sorry, internet stopped. It's very important. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, internet still unstable. I don't know why. Hi, can you hear me?
Unstable. Yes, I can.
Yes.
I can.
Okay. Sorry. Hi.
Yeah.
Continue. Yeah.
Where was I? Because it was
I know. Storytelling in.
Yeah. You know, as storytellers, that's I think that's what we can do. It may be we may only be able to make small changes, and small influences, but hopefully it can snowball into something stronger.
Yeah, I think your movie released in Japan is gonna be the snowball and it become a big, I think. Hello. Hello. Yeah, your movie will be released in Japan soon. Then it will be definitely become a snowball and then big and big and big. And hopefully people can understand. You know, people can learn from your film. Stop again. It's very important. Hello. Hi. No. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's so important, but you know, trying to wrap up and stop. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me again? Okay.
Yes.
I will repeat. So probably I should repeat 2, 3 times, 3 or 4 times. Okay. Your movie, The Garden of Evening Mist, and this is the novel, will be released in Japan very soon, I hope. Yeah, the corona pandemic situation, hope it will be controlled, and then the theater will be open, and a lot of people go to watch that movie, and then it will be the snowball, and then bigger and bigger, and then I hope to spread, word of redemption. Then you say it's finding inner peace, let go of the past, and spreading the love. Then understand each other. I hope it will be soon. Thank you so much, Mr. Tomolin. And you are in Taipei. I'm in Kuala Lumpur, and a lot of people, watching this all over the world. You please take this book as well. If you are in Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, please go to HBO Asia, and then search The Garden of the Evening Mist. Please watch. Then can you please stay there? I want to say something in Japanese. Yeah, so hold on. 日本の皆さん、今見ていただいていると思うんですけれども、この Garden of Evening Mist、 夕霧花園という名前で中国では放映されてますけれど、中国語では放映されてますけれども、阿部寛さん主演で、シン・ジェリーさんというマレーシア人の女優さんと、大変有名な、シルビア・チャンさんなどが出ていらして、すごくいい映画です。皆さんにぜひ見ていただきたいです。それから、このビデオを今日見ていただいたんですけれども、残念ながら英語でインタビューを実施しておりまして、字幕だとか編集作業が私一人ではちょっと追いつかない状況になってます。ボランティアで字幕をつけてもいいよ。翻訳してもいいよとか、あと編集も手伝いますとか、そういうふうに言ってくださる方がもしいらっしゃれば、私の方にメッセージをいただけるとありがたいです。はい。Okay, Mr. Tomlin, thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep
Thank
in
you. Thank
touch.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
All
And
right.
then one more
Bye-bye.
thing, one more thing,
Yes.
please make
Yes.
a film in the future for children. Age
Okay.
rating is no
Okay.
PG-13, 18. Yeah, I will
Okay.
go watch your movie with my son.
Okay.
はい、
Thank
all
you.
right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, thank
Okay.
you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.